rise and shine. Coffee's brewing, feeling fine. News is out and on the air. Shizzy Whiz nuts wild, but we don't care. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz nuts, start the show. Let's go. Spinning in the breeze, stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java with a smile, pants are off but stay a while. Morning Whiz and Coffee, talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz, let's start the show, let's go. Headlines spinning in the breeze, stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java, wear a smile, pants are off but stay a while. Morning Whiz and Coffee, talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz, let's start the show, let's go. Serious is overrated, every day we're caffeinated. Talk the town but in a jest, Morning Whiz is always best. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop.
Oh my God! Shizzy breaks Larry. Shizzy broke Larry.
Good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing well. Good to see you. What a beautiful day it's going to be. Oh, man. Good morning, Debbie Webb. Good morning. Good morning, Nancy. Denise, good to see you. Good to see you. Let's see what else we have in the house. We've got Denise, and Nancy are having a real conversation here. You guys, just back and forth. Good to see you, Brandon. You were up early this morning. Welcome, brother. Glad you could make it in. And of course, we got John. 5-alarm pants on pants fire. 5-alarm pants fire. Hey, that's pretty good. I like that. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you, Diane. Man, Donna, beautiful morning. T, correct? All right, T, good to see you. Good to see you. Glad you could make it. Elisa Farr, welcome. Allie Ridley, good morning. Allie Riddell, good morning. Oh, man. What a day we're going to have this morning. Why? Well, it looks like Jill Biden is retiring. Yeah. And the punchline writes itself. First Lady Jill Biden announced on Tuesday she's retiring. We know what you're thinking. She was already leaving the Oval Office at the end of January after a long 4-year term as shadow president. Jill oversaw the cabinet meeting when her husband, though in attendance, just couldn't quite do the job. And we actually have a video of that. It's brought to you by Newsweek.
I'm here, my first time at a cabinet meeting, to thank you for the incredible progress we've made on women's health research, all in less than a year. Joe directed federal departments and agencies to prioritize women's health research and innovation, and you responded. Your agencies are strengthening standards so that when the government funds research, it includes women from the beginning.
Oh, that's actually not a bad idea. Maybe they should have been doing that the whole damn time. Go figure. Why would you include women in funding research at the same time that you do the same research on men? Why would you research men and women differently than you would each other? Well, because drugs have different effects on men than they do on women. That's why this whole biological male thing, biological female thing is really important. It's a weird concept, but it's really important that you treat them as different sexes because they affect each person differently. So just because someone identifies as a pool stick doesn't mean that they're actually a pool stick, and you would not treat them the same as you would a pool stick. Just a wonderful thought. Oh, or as my last colleague, Matt Margolis, suggested to me, she was already done when Nancy Pelosi kneecapped her last summer. Oh my God, I've got to see this. I've got to see this now. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So sweet right here. Washington, D.C., Jill Biden formally dropped out of the 2024 presidential race, announced today at a press conference it was supposed to be for her husband. I cannot in good conscience continue, the acting president said, her husband wandering around somewhere backstage. Journalists expressed shock and disappointment to learn that not only has Joe Biden been a decrepit old man for the last 3 years, he hasn't even been president. Well, this is news to me, said CNN's Jake Tapper, whatever his name is. I could have sworn she was the first lady and that Biden was just a normal person just 2 weeks ago. Jill Biden said she would not seek a second term because she was tired of everyone thinking her husband was the real president. He's a skeleton of a skin suit and has been reanimated by dark magics to nod and smile at people. Frankly, I'm insulted. No one has caught on that I'm the actual president, she complained. I'm tired of getting all the glory. Neither Jill nor her husband took any questions. At publishing time, Jill Biden had begun working on plans for her husband's presidential library, which she would make sure was all about her. Yes, that was by the Babylon Bee. Just so you're wondering. Oh man. But it doesn't matter what camp you're in. She is leaving her job. Related Dirty Jill. According to the Daily Mail, Jill gave her sotto voce, something like that. I don't speak these here Italian words. You can't throw them at me. Retirement announcing during a virtual thank you event with teachers tuning in. Well, they should have been turning in. They should have been just going to sleep. Tuning in from around the country. And what she had to say was, being the first lady has been the honor of my life, but being your colleague has been the work of my life. Last Thursday, I taught my last class of the semester, my final class ever in Northern Virginia Community College. I always loved this profession, which is why I continue to teach full-time while serving as your first lady, said Jill Biden, who was joined on a sofa by Teachers Union President Randy Weingarten. That's a little creepy. She doing the casting couch now? It was by the American Federation of Teachers and Becky Pringle. Wow, it's a threesome. Oh, man. Biden made her announcement at this campaign-like visit with American Federation of Teachers head Randy Weingarten and National Education Association President Becky Pringle, where she thanked teachers for using their jobs to proselytize Democrats for the last election. Joe Biden and teachers union bosses. Oh yeah, that's really what you want to see. Thank teachers for organizing before the election to get out the vote. Another ad for homeschooling. More than a year ago, I wrote about Dirty Jill and her role as family cheerleader, convincing her obviously addled husband to take Obama's advice and become the face of the party. Jill Biden has always worked during her marriage. They needed the money, and no doubt she wanted some control over spending and independence in case the hair-smelling daughter showering parade nudist she married got caught and she was on her own. Jill smiles at her force field to stop uncomfortable questions from reporters about her sick family. She's the slick to her husband's ick. Oh, the former Delaware high school teacher still maintains her English teaching schedule at the Northern Virginia Community College, where she's taught since the inception of the Obama administration. She obviously taught English and writing at Delaware Technical Community College. She has 4 degrees and 5 grandchildren. Spoke enthused before Hunter's love child was discovered, and he started his second generation family. Oh, God. Northern Virginia CC has received more than $120 million in the coup funds from Trump and Biden White House as she receives her $90,000 plus salary from school foundation to satisfy ethic rules. She's paid more than most teachers at the community college, according to salary survey by the Daily Digital. And now she'll be sliding into retirement with her addled husband. She'll be a visiting angel to cover for her national security nightmare of a husband as he slowly loses any other inhibitions that remain as he slides into full-blown dementia. Well, they'll have their choice of homes to retire to. They own 2 homes, as I reported in Dirty Jill. The poorest man in Congress and his wife own 2 homes, including the 400,000 square foot 6-bedroom Rehoboth Beach. I think that's right. Colonial, and their 10-acre Wilmington, I think they said mansion that Joe famously designed himself with a big swimming pool, reported Vogue article entitled "A First Lady for Us All on the Road with Jill Biden." I'm sure she does get on the road. At the Rehoboth Beach home bears a sign called "A Promise Kept," because Jill says the promise kept was actually this house, because Joe kept saying, "When I write my book, I'll buy you a beach house." Now we learned that the couple paid $2.74 million cash. That deal went down just days after Hunter Biden demanded the Chinese give the Biden family money, saying he was sitting right next to his father while making the threat. There will be fewer public humiliations for Joe, such as this one when he apparently thought that the blonde on stage with him was his wife. My sad prediction is there will be fewer Vogue or Town and Country features on the Bidens' retirements. Then perhaps the Bidens will make a couple of overseas trips to collect some checks. And the next thing you know, the family will announce that Joe's public life is ending due to his dementia. The family will split the spoils, though there will be a fight with Hunter over assets, and Jill will spend her dotage with her grandchildren and making bank, speech making about being a teacher. And by the way, you can give the gift of truth this holiday. Consider giving a gift subscription to your friends with your 60% off Christmas deal using the promo code FAT. Yeah. There you go. There you go. There is plenty of promo codes out there. You just got to go find them. And we have some of those here. So very sad. Well, that is sad. Yes. Good morning, Stormy. Good morning, Debbie. Good morning, Jam. Good morning, Magic Angel. Hope you're doing well. Good morning. Good morning, Joyce. Oh my, what a day. What a day. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I like this one here. I'm hoping this next story that they figure out what powdered soap is, because she's up morning briefing. Congress wants taxpayers to pick up more soap in the prison shower. Powdered, maybe? Happy Wednesday. Feathergrass resists the urge to grow where kilted cynics fritter away the night. Just in time for Christmas. Another congressional dereliction of duty vis-a-vis American taxpayers. The United States Congress, ostensibly a functional branch of the representative republic, long ago ceded many of its responsibilities. Members of both parties prefer grandstanding hearings and photo ops to crafting any legislation that might be helpful to the people they're supposed to be representing. Any legislation that would withstand scrutiny, that is. That's one of the reasons why we've seen an uptick in presidential executive actions for so long now. It seems that the only time our non-representative representatives take an interest in playing Congress people is when they're working on a ghastly omnibus bill or continuing resolution to keep the government open. This is the part where we all say to each other, who cares if the government is open or not? We've all been on the same page regarding that for a long, long time. Well, here we are again. It's continuing resolution time. This is something from Christian Josie wrote for us yesterday. As the sun begins to set on the 118th Congress, our leaders are preparing to pass a bloated, out of control spending bill in the form of continuing resolution, CR, crafted by Senate Majority Leader for now, Chuck Schumer. As you might imagine, the CR is a gift to Democrats, special interests, and other DC swamp creatures, the product of a sad party looking to squeeze out a win for itself on the way out the door. The CR is a 1,500-page monstrosity. The bigger the bill, the more unnecessary spending can be hidden and snuck underneath the noses of the voters. True, the voters are very, very slow to react to this ongoing abuse, but as Christian wrote, Schumer's CR is a celebration of everything voters rejected in November. It would be easy to frame this as solely a post-election revenge play on the part of Schumer and the Dems, but we all know that Republicans are a big part of that problem. And this is a post from his friend at Renstein colleague, Lord Clark. He wrote yesterday, the swamp's going to swamp. And this right here is what they had to say.
Of course. I mean, it's just swamp's going to swamp, right? 1,400 pages. Still haven't seen the text. Multiple subject matters. Important healthcare legislation in the context of extenders piled on the back of a 3-month CR with about 110 billion unpaid for, 25 billion in healthcare policy, half of which is fake pay for, being sold that is paid for because they're gimmicks and shuffling around the decks. Things like E15, which we didn't even have a full debate on. This is not the way to do business, right? And so, we said we'd do something different. Since we've been given the majority again, we're adding 330 billion in literally totally unpaid for additional deficit spending just since November 5th in 45 days. I don't see how that's doing what we're supposed to be doing.
How much of the blame falls on the speaker?
Yeah, I mean, now we'll keep trying to move forward. The conference itself owns this, right? And the conference needs to decide whether we're actually serious about spending. And they talk about, well, we got to do mandatory spending reform and bend the curve. But we just voted on a $200 billion shift of dollars in Social Security that's going to shorten the time when Social Security expires or goes bankrupt. Mm-hmm. We're just fundamentally unserious about spending. And as long as you got a blank check, you can't shrink government. If you can't shrink government, you can't live free. Do you plan on
It's going to be a long book, Brandon. It's going to be a long freaking book. It's 1,500 pages, not 1,400 pages, and it is full of garbage. Full of garbage. And he's not the only one that's a little ticked off about it. From what I understand, Burchett is also a little pissed off about it. There's people that are not happy. Starting to think my old man needs to retire. We'd make more money. Probably. Well, I'm aware of that. Like, there's a lot of people not liking this at all. God. Roy has been beating his drum for a while. So have Taylor Greene and a few other Republicans. Far too few, however. This sets the quiet stage for Donald Trump's plans for the federal behemoth when he gets back to the Oval Office on January 20th, 2025. Fundamentally, getting the Democrats to stop spending money like drunken Kennedy cousins on a long weekend in Cabo is a tall order. It would probably be wisest for Trump to take his own part to task first. The Department of Government Efficacy will hopefully do its job if Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy take a machete to as much federal waste as they say they want to. It'll be a heck of a start if there isn't as much government to fund. Congress can't keep spending as much money. In theory, it is Congress after all. The American electorate did flex its muscle in November, but voters are going to have to keep flexing if the people that they elect aren't doing what they are elected to do. There's a lot of people who are going to need to change personal and professional habits if this spending nightmare is ever going to be changed. This country is overdue for some growing pains. And just remember, everything isn't always awful. Look at that. Oh, so cute, so happy. Just little mouse comes over and says, "Oh, look." Poor kittens are like, "Really? Really? I thought you were dinner." Hey, Jan, how's it going? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Elka. So here's the deal, Shizzy. No, I mean it. Why do I have to read it after they don't? I'm serious. Why? Because you need to know where it's coming from, especially if you're in the business of making money. You need to know where they're going to be spending yours at. You shouldn't have to, but that's what happens. It's ridiculous that's what this is about. It sucks. They have not read this, and they can't read it because it's not available to them. It sucks. It absolutely sucks. I guarantee you that there's nothing good going to come out of this at all. But I did see this on the AP this morning, which was almost comical. And I also read about it in elsewhere, which I think I like PJ Media is much better. It's this one. Biden calls for a ban on congressional stock trading. Haven't we been calling on the ban on stock trading for what? I don't know, 20 plus years now. And it hasn't changed. And the AP does its normal blah, blah, blah bullshit here, which is short. President Joe Biden endorsed a ban on congressional stock trading in an interview that's been released this week, belatedly weighing in on an issue that's been debated on Capitol Hill for years. Nobody in Congress should be able to make money in the stock market while they're in Congress, Biden said. Durr. Didn't stop you from doing it there, homie. The interview is conducted by a fair Shakir, political advisor for Senator Bernie Sanders, and published Hey, a More Perfect Union, a pro-labor advocacy and journalism organization. The AP reviewed a video of the interview before its release. It's unclear what impacts Biden's statement could have, coming only a month before its term ends. The Democrat president spoke with Shakir about his economic legacy, which includes supporting unions, investing in clean energy projects, and shining infrastructure. But Shakir also asked about congressional stock trading, which has been a catalyst for populist anger in Washington. For example, when the COVID pandemic was approaching, some lawmakers bought and sold millions of dollars worth of stock after being briefed on the virus. The bipartisan proposal to ban trading by members of Congress and their families has dozens of sponsors, but it has not received a vote ever. It never will. Although lawmakers are required to disclose stocks transactions exceeding $1,000, they routinely are late in filing notices and sometimes just don't even file them at all. And this goes on both the left and the right. Biden said he lived on his senator salary instead of playing the stock market. I don't know how you look at your constituents in the eye and know because the job they gave you the inside track to make more money. They think we should be changing the law. Biden had previously declined to take a position on congressional stock trading when Jen Psaki served as press secretary 2 years ago. She said Biden would let the members of leadership in Congress and members in Congress determine what the rules should be. Rules for me and not for thee. But if you read PJ Media's, it's so much better. Because it says, is Joe Biden taking a party shot at Nancy Pelosi before leaving office? I don't believe there's a lot of love left between Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi. Oh, you know what this needs? This needs some music to it. It really does. I'm really liking this happy music that I have now. I think it's so fitting, so damn fitting. Let me see if I've got it here. Ah, yeah, here it is. I don't believe Nancy Pelosi. She was a key figure in forcing Biden out of the 2024 presidential race. And according to some recent reports, he's been bitter about it. While he might find some comfort in the fact that Camel Toe failed to defeat Donald Trump as well, I believe Biden has made a final jab at Pelosi before he leaves office. In a recent interview, Biden took an unequivocal stance on one of the most controversial issues in Congress, stock trading by lawmakers. Nobody in Congress should be able to make money in the stock market while they're in Congress, Biden said. His comments made during an interview with Faz Shakar, political advisor to Bernie Sanders, was published a More Perfect Union, a pro-labor organization. Biden's endorsement of the ban comes on the context of broader discussions about his economic legacy. The president touted his administration's support for unions and investment in clean energy and infrastructure. However, his remarks on stock trading have sparked particular interest due to the ongoing scrutiny of lawmakers using their access to non-public information for personal gain. Gotta get the music in there. Oh my God. Yes. I wish Pelosi would go and sit in a corner, retire, and drink. No, she's doing just fine sitting in a corner and drinking without retiring. She's still collecting money. Well, it has been an issue for quite some time. According to the Associated Press, the lack of enforcement of existing disclosure requirements has only blah, blah, blah. Lawmakers have been allowed to trade stocks with minimal oversight for a long time now, yet little has been done to address the issue. This is where Biden's recent remark stands out. Previously, the White House had been silent on the issue, with former press secretary Jen Psaki. What did you guys just copy and paste? Jesus. While Biden seemed to have as much political capital as a floater in a congressional toilet, his endorsement of the ban should be seen as a dramatic shift, especially since it comes just weeks before his term ends. And perhaps more than anything, it could be a not-so-subtle jab at Pelosi before he leaves office. It's hardly a coincidence that he has taken this position now, and that Pelosi's stock trading has been a subject of scrutiny for years, if not decades. Her reputation for avoiding losses or profit handsomely based on her access to non-public information is absolutely legendary, and the debate over congressional stock trading is far from over. While bipartisan proposals to ban such trades have gained traction, the lack of political will to pass them remains a significant hurdle. Biden's newfound push for action on this sure feels like a parting shot at someone with whom he'll forever hold a grudge. Or it could just be that he's so addled that he has no thought about what it comes out of his mouth. I think it's the latter. I don't think Biden has much thought about what comes out of his happy mouth. That's just my thought, but I could be wrong. Could be absolutely wrong. It does happen. I'm known to be wrong quite often. How you doing? Yeah. Biden's revenge tour. Yeah, I don't see it happening. I don't think he's going to have much of a revenge tour on this at all. It is it's nice to think that he's that cognizant, but I don't think he is. Oh, my coffee is empty. I need more coffee. That is what we need. We need more coffee. Get some more coffee, please. We're going to take a short break. We will be right back in just a couple. Here we go.
Shizzy, when it's chat we thrive, where Shizzy does dance and memes arrive. No quiet moments, no dull night. We laugh and funny sight. Oh, Shizzy's crowd, you're wild and true, with crazy gigs and jokes that flew. We're living pixels in the stream. inside jokes and endless memes. We talk and Shizzy when it's chat, we thrive. Where Shizzy does dance and memes arrive. No quiet moments, no dull night. We laugh and funny sight. Oh, Shizzy's crowd, you're wild and true, with crazy gifts and jokes that flew. We're living pixels in the stream, a digital dream, a shared daydream. From shout-outs to those random screens, and inside jokes and endless memes. In Shizzy Winnows chat we thrive, where Shizzy does dance and memes arrive. No quiet moments, no dull night. We laugh and funny sight. Oh, Shizzy's crowd, you're wild and true, with crazy gifts and jokes that flew. We're living pixels in the stream, a digital dream, a shared daydream. From shout-outs to those random screens, to inside jokes and endless memes. We type our hearts, we spam the love. Our chat rooms like a lit-up club. Our chat rooms like a lit-up club. Oh, Shizzy's crowd, you're wild and true, with crazy gifts and jokes that flew. We're living pixels in the stream, a digital dream, a shared daydream. Ooh, yeah, we come together night and day. We laugh, we play in our way. A family in a cyberspace, loving hearts in this virtual place. Oh, Shizzy's crowd, you're wild and true, with crazy gifts and jokes that flew. We're living pixels in the stream, a digital dream, a shared daydream.
Yeah, that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. Coffee is what keeps me fueled in the morning and helps me to sleep at night. Mm, mm, mm. Ah, yes, yes, and yes. I've got something I've been looking for quite some time, and I finally found it last night. No, it was not my mind. That one is still completely lost. Well, and here's a question for you. If you think Trump's lawsuit against Ann Seltzer is a good idea, it could be. But what do they have to say about this? Coffee is king. Yes. There's a lot of people that don't drink coffee. That's entirely up to them. Some people might be more into the tea, or it's okay. It's okay. I mean, I forgive you for now. Once I'm up, I'm up. Hey, once I'm asleep, I'm asleep. It doesn't change whenever I go to sleep. My wife tells me I do talk in my sleep also. Well, I would believe that if it were true. I don't always believe her. But I do love having my coffee in the morning. Mm. You live on coffee, my veins have brown liquid. Mainline that coffee. Hey Rosalind, how you doing, girl? No, I don't mainline anything. I do have a certain amount of coffee, but then I cut myself off. If not, then it's I get like too sleepy. Does that make sense? Donald Trump has never shied away from a fight, especially when it comes to defending his reputation. He just settled with ABC News and George Stephanopoulos a $15 million over blatantly false reporting. His latest legal challenge targets retired Iowa pollster J. Ann Seltzer, alleging that her pre-election poll showing camel toe leading in Iowa constituted brazen election interference. Filed in Polk County, Iowa, under the Iowa Consumer Fraud Act, the lawsuit also names the Des Moines Register and its parent company, Gannett, as defendants. Trump's team claims the poll was not just inaccurate, but also intentionally deceptive, aiming to manipulate voter perceptions ahead of the 2024 election. The controversy stems from Seltzer's October poll, which showed Camel Toe ahead by 3 points in Iowa, a projection that turned out to be so far off the mark. Trump did ultimately win the state over by 13 points, and that's raising questions about how such a respected pollster that did retire right during all of this. You got to get to like that too. Yeah, there you go. Could miss the mark so badly for years. Ann Seltzer was the gold standard in polling. I bet she did quite a bit of polling. Known for her most uncanny accuracy in Iowa, but her final Iowa poll of the 2024 election was so bad, it pretty much destroyed her reputation. We're supposed to believe it's a coincidence that she decided to retire from polling shortly after the election. She destroyed her credibility to help stop Trump. Mark Richel Rasmussen, Reports head pollster, told PJ Media after the election, and she was actually a damn good pollster. Camel Toe may be closer to becoming president than you think. God, I hope not. That would be such a disaster. Trump's lawsuit alleges that the poll misled the public and diverted campaign resources, causing tangible harm to his campaign and the voters alike. And there may be some truth to that. For one thing, leaking the results to Democrats in advance shattered Seltzer's reputation for independence. Mitchell told PJ Media last month that the leak made Democrats ecstatic and laughing. And because they really needed hope, they got a gold standard pollster handing them exactly the copium that they needed. At the heart of this case is whether Seltzer's poll, I bet she is a poll, was simply a rare miscalculation or an intentional act designed to influence the election. Trump's legal team insists on the latter, accusing Seltzer and her media partners of pushing a false narrative to boost Harris. Seltzer, however, denies any wrongdoing. Of course she would. The idea that I intentionally set up to deliver this response whenever I've never done that before. I've had plenty of opportunities to do it. It's not my ethic. Now it's not your ethic. It will be hard to prove that the poll caused any major disruption in the campaign. Reputable forecasters didn't exactly change their predictions because of the poll. Camel Toe didn't suddenly pour extra resources there either. In 2004, when polling showed that Hawaii appeared to be playing, both the Bush and Kerry campaigns went out there to rally support. There didn't seem to be any significant adjustments in strategy or resources from what I could tell. During Mar-a-Lago's press conference, Trump characterized the lawsuit as a fight for accountability in the media, not a personal vendetta. I'm not doing this because I want to. I'm doing this because I feel like I have an obligation to do it, he declared. The lawsuit certainly raises questions about how inaccurate polling impacts elections, from distorting voter behavior to misguiding campaign strategies, but proving that it was intentional in court will be extremely difficult because Trump did win. I honestly don't think her poll had any effect. I don't know. She slid down that poll quite a bit. Just a little up, a little down, a little to the left, a little to the right. Sorry. That's maybe a little too much. Just thinking if just saying it's a little makes me want to throw up thinking about Camel Toe riding a pole. Just sorry. I think there was a little acid reflux. Different pole shizzy. Different pole. Stand up, sit down. Fight. Good morning, Miss PJ Graham. How are you doing? Good to see you. Welcome. Shizzy and pole dance. Oh, Shizzy, not pole dancing. Yeah. Don't worry. I got something for you. Oh my God. Speaking of Camel Toe, Camel Toe may be closer to becoming president than you think. For a week now, there have been some fringe voices on the left predicting that Camel Toe will be installed as president next year, despite losing the election. Well, it's a cute story rooted deep in delusion, but that doesn't mean that Camel Toe doesn't have a realistic opportunity to become president. I know that sounds crazy, but it's actually kind of true. As Rick Moran previously reported, James O'Keefe exposed a candid conversation between NCS advisor Henry Appel and others discussing President Biden's rapidly declining cognitive health in a stunning release of undercutter footage. Appel was blunt, claiming that Joe Biden is like dead. Not literally, his words weren't just offhanded remarks. They painted a troubling picture of a man increasingly unable to carry out basic functions that he holds in office, which is kind of important. Yeah, we're gonna play this. We're gonna play this right here, and thank you for the O'KeefeMedia.com for
well, here's something. Joe Biden is like dead. He like can't say a sentence. He's like really like progressed in his old age. Everybody recognized. I can't believe it wasn't a bigger scandal. Like, he'll be dead in a year.
Meet Henry Appel, an advisor for the National Security Council. Henry Appel shared that President Biden had called the NSC White House phone while on a foreign trip looking for NSC advisor Jake Sullivan. Henry told the president that, in fact, Mr. Sullivan was not at the White House, but on the same foreign trip as President Biden.
Amazing. Yeah, I've seen this. I've seen it also. Well, we may cover a little bit more of it later on. Ballstorm, you know. The issues aren't exactly news to PJ Media readers, since Biden's cognitive decline has been a topic of our news coverage for years. The problem is that the White House has gone into extraordinary lengths to cover it up. All of that blew up after his disastrous debate performance with Donald Trump back in June. And it seems inevitable that the word of his diminished state would come out, and others will surely corroborate Appel's remark in time. The incidents Appel discussed on camera weren't just isolated incidents. Appel recounted a moment when Biden repeatedly asked for the whereabouts of Jake Sullivan, even though Sullivan was actually with him on a trip. This lapse in memory and confusion about familiar surroundings pointing to a growing cognitive decline that we can no longer ignore. And it's hard for that video not to disturb you. The description of Biden's behavior mirrors the early stages of Alzheimer's. And if you've ever had a loved one, which my wife and I have a friend that has Alzheimer's or another form of dementia, you've probably recognized quite a few of those signs. Cognitive decline is slow, insidious, and profoundly unsettling. What's even more disturbing, however, is the idea that someone so impaired still has the power to make decisions that affects millions of people, including on life or death national security matters. A situation could set the stage for Harris to step in. If Biden's decline continues at this pace, the Democrat Party will face a tough decision: allow the president to remain in office and risk further destabilization, or invoke the 25th Amendment. I would suspect the latter. Now, for what it's worth, letting Harris serve as president, if even for only a few weeks, doesn't exactly put our country in better hands. She would likely be in a better position to do deliberate damage to sabotage Trump than Biden is doing now. The election is over. Biden isn't untouchable anymore. Many of the party blame him for Camel Toe's defeat, and the loyalty that protected him for so long is crumbling. And trust me, we may be closer to the invoking of the 25th than you think. After watching your streams, I'm pretty sure I have dementia, helmet, Velcro shoes. It probably is true. You know, the large amounts of, the copious amounts of alcohol that I consume really have addled my brain. Because don't you know that I drink on stream? Like this morning, coffee. I guess that seems to be a problem with people. Oh, he's drinking on stream. woe is me. At least I don't sound like I've swallowed a bunch of cocks and, just huffed a bunch of cigarettes down my gullet. But hey, at least I'm having fun. Economists. Oh wow, this one should spur a little bit of excitement out of Brandon. Economists, government spending spurred inflation. It turns out that excessive and unwise government spending translated into severe inflation that cost all of us ever more money indeed. Heritage Foundation economist E.J. Antoni says that the Fed's data speaks to why the entire narrative about inflation being caused by supply chains was just wrong, which I don't buy that for 1 minute. Because if you don't have fuel, and it costs twice the amount to get your product to market, it's going to be expensive. Morning, Mark West. The Federal Reserve's November report about its global supply chain pressure, GSCPI, which tracks transportation cost factors, indicated that while supply chain disruptions did play a role in some shortages and consequently in inflation over the last few years, we also must look elsewhere for the main drivers of inflation overall. According to Antoni, based on Fed data, government spending is a major factor. I still don't buy it. It doesn't matter. The economy is absolute shite right now. Antoni emphasized his comments to the Epoch Times that bad government policies, wasteful spending, especially under Joe Biden, prolonged and drove inflation. We didn't have inflation simply because supply chains were snarled. No, it wasn't supply chains were snarled. It's just the cost of doing business takes a lot more. Yes, government spending is a thing, but this economist he's looking at the wrong fucking data, because it's not about the supply chains, it's the cost of doing business. If 4 years prior it cost $1 to $2, now was it $1.20, something like that, to get transportation from one place to the other per gallon, well, now it was costing 4 times that amount. And then everywhere along that supply chain, it's 4 times the amount of what you would have been spending before. When you have that kind of money increased, it doesn't matter about government spending. What matters is your entire supply chain. It's costing more money. So his data is skewed, or he's a complete effing idiot. Just putting it out there. Because it's more than just about supply chains. The government spent, borrowed, and printed trillions upon trillions of dollars it didn't have. Well, that happens too because of supply chain issues, you fucking moron. The index went up in 2020 when Donald Trump and other government officials agreed to devastating lockdowns and the consequent demand for government handouts. There was another spike in 21 under Biden-Harris coup policies, the Epoch Times explained, followed by yet another spike in 2022, then a drop. Supply chains were normalizing by 2023, but inflation continued. See, it's not about the supply chains, it's about the cost of doing business, which they just are not looking at. Thanks, everyone, for the warm welcome. Well, you are welcome here. Just behave. Dems need something to rally their base. Making Harris president for even a month would be a tiny, meaningless footnote to history. Yeah, it would. Diesel fuel and insurance all went way up. Exactly. Like 4 times the amount that it was prior. It was insane. It was just insane, the amount, the cost of doing business. And that was across the board. And government printing money didn't help out either. Problem is the just-in-times logistics, hiccup adds to cost each time, but never comes down. Exactly. Food up 300%. Yeah, that's because of the cost from farm to table. I mean, and if you're getting food shipped from across seas, they're just going to add that price onto it. It costs them. Whereas to get you those bananas, for example, from what, Tahiti or wherever the bananas are coming from, just to get you those bananas that used to cost, cost like $1 or $2, per banana, whatever, 50 cents, 5 cents per banana is now costing, $3 per banana. They're going to raise the price of bananas. Same way with coffee and metal and whatever else happens to be imported into the United States from other countries. And so you've got somebody that's purchasing steel that all of a sudden costs more, or just the raw iron ore or coal or oil, which before it only cost X amount of dollars. Now you've increased that cost of doing business. And they're going to pass that on to the consumer because they can't be operating at a complete loss, or else then they can't continue operating. Of course, the Dems don't seem to understand that. While inflation rate has allegedly slowed since then, remember that it does not mean inflation has gone down. In fact, costs continue to rise, and we still pay significantly more necessities than we did pre-2020, most particularly before BCE or Biden catastrophic area. The average prices across the American economy have not gone down despite constant Democrat propaganda assuring us that they have. It's not primarily because of supply chain issues. Yes, we know this, and Americans know to whom to blame, and that's why they voted against Biden and camel toe in the 24 election. As Antony continued, we actually did believe that higher prices were caused by these supply chain difficulties. Then what we should have seen as supply chains normalized was not only inflation coming down, but prices coming down. But we didn't see that. And this has always been a manufactured crisis. Why do we still have overall 20% higher prices than we saw in January of 21? It's because the government has debased our currency to pay for all its excess spending. Yes, because it was running rampant with the cause and effect. Good morning. How you doing, Bonita Smith? Morning. Welcome. Why do we still have overall 20% higher prices than we saw in January 2021? Cato Institute fiscal expert Chris Edwards agree with Antony's assessment. Well, of course, you're going to get some moron to agree with his assessment, but we know where the biggest problem is. There's a general agreement among economists, and that scares me even more, that there's a general agreement among economists, because didn't we have 20 economists that we figured out were a bunch from socialist countries that were saying that our economy is doing just fine, that Donald Trump is spending his tariffs are going to raise prices on everybody and destroy our economy. Remember, over $1 trillion was required to just service the national debt, yet Democrats keep spending more and more, and so do Republicans. You can't just blame this on Democrats. With the assistance of too many congressional Republicans, thank you, including Speaker Mike Johnson and company pushing the disastrous CR that's happening right now. Let's hope the incoming Trump administration can finally reverse that trend. Government bureaucrats might waste your taxpayer money, but one investment that will never be a waste of money is becoming PJ Media VIP member. Use the code FIGHT to get 60% off as part of their Christmas sale. It's pretty awesome. At 60%, it equates to like less than $20. Serious, less than $20 for a year. And you get not only this, but you get, I think it's Town Hall and a couple others. It's pretty damn awesome. I'm really, really enjoying this because it's giving me much better news than I was getting elsewhere. Much better news than I was getting elsewhere. I've always been a little concerned with using it, but I will tell you, it is much, much better. Where is something I was looking for? And wait. Oh, okay. All right. I see what I was looking for. What we need is some happiness in our lives, and what better way than to have just a little bit of this, a little bit of. Look at this. Oh, he looks so happy. Oh, that's a happy bull. That is one happy bull. Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. You gotta enjoy this. You gotta enjoy this space that we're in. It's a wonderful, wonderful place. Ah, wonderful, wonderful place. Mm. So we've got Elizabeth Warren demands conflict of interest rules for Musk and Trump's campaign. Response is fire. Who is it now? Massachusetts, Elizabeth Warren, the Democrat from Cherokee Nation, is still in the Senate. And while she maintained a relatively low profile during the presidential campaign, she's now sending up new smoke signals. After years of turning blind eye to massive corruption in Biden crime family, to say nothing of the Clintons and other leftists, Warren has suddenly discovered that public servants shouldn't enrich themselves at the public trough, and she's demanding action. The only problem is, as you may have already suspected, she's demanding it of all the wrong people. Good morning, Victoria Hawk. Welcome, 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 welcome. Oh, he's cute. Yeah, that bolo is pretty damn cute. The intrepid former Native American has decided to use insinuations of conflict of interest as a rhetorical weapon against Donald Trump and Elon Musk. When, however, Warren sent out her shot across the Trump camp's bow, she didn't get defensiveness, apologies, and resignations that leftists had come to expect from supined uniparty Republicans. Quite the contrary. In fact, it's supposed to be here at 9 o'clock. That sounds hot. That cow is one of those you avoid when you're drunk and tipping. I bet he'd play really nice. Warren asserted in a snippy letter to the Trump transition team that putting Mr. Musk into a position to influence billions of dollars of government contracts and regulatory enforcement without a single stringent conflict of interest agreement is in place, an invitation for corruption on a scale never seen in our timeline. I'm not doing that. Yeah. Wait, not seen in our lifetimes? Has Elizabeth Warren been so consumed with tribal matters that she hasn't heard of Hunter Biden and the cushy job he got with the Ukraine national gas firm Burisma? Despite having no knowledge, no experience, no education in the field. Oh, and his father just happened to be vice president. Has Elizabeth Warren been so busy passing around the peace pipe that she hasn't noticed how her pal Nancy Pelosi and her husband are absolute wizards at the stock market, repeatedly selling off stock? What a coincidence, just before some government action that would have a negative impact on the company involved. Heedless of her glaring double standard, Warren's little smoke signals continue as your transition team's ethic plans make clear. The role of government is not to line the pockets of the wealthiest Americans. A strong, enforceable ethics plans for the world's richest man is a necessary first step for delivering on the promise. Moving forward, will he recuse himself from matters affecting Tesla, SpaceX, or any other company he owns in which he has a substantial investment? Currently, the American public has no way of knowing whether the advice that he's whispering to you is secret, is good for the country, or merely good for his own bottom line. Interesting. Interesting, huh? Heap big trouble for Musk and Trump. No. Not only is Warren's demand patently one-sided and politically motivated, but Trump's team is not disposed to take it lying down. Trump's spokesperson, Caroline Levitt, on maybe it's Leave It on Monday, sent Warren a TP shaken response, and President Trump Levy wrote, has assembled the most impressive and qualified team of innovators, entrepreneurs, and geniuses to advise and staff our government. Pocahontas can play political games and send toothless letters, but the Trump Vance transition will continue to be held to the highest ethical and legal standards possible, a standard unfamiliar to a career politician whose social impact is 1/120,000th of Elon Musk's. Oh boy. This statement should be preserved as an example of how patriots should fight back against the left. Pocahontas, of course, was Trump's unforgettable nickname for Warren after she was unmasked as a fake, having claimed for decades to be Native American while not having any actual Native ancestry. Leavitt's statement that Warren's societal impact is 1/124th of 1024th. Yeah, 1024th of Elon Musk is a riotous reference to Warren's disastrous decision in 2018 to prove Trump wrong with a DNA test, only for it to show that she was no more than 1/124,000th of a Native American at best. Warren's silly letter to the Trump team, however, does indicate that the left, as quiet as it has been regarding Trump lately, is formulating its game plan for the next 4 years, which, yes, is exactly what it's going to be doing. And will be doing everything it can to impede Trump from making America great again. Baseless conflict of interest complaints are just the beginning. The drive to destroy the nation and put in its place a socialist internationalist monstrosity has not ended. The left is not going to rest. The patriots should study how best to respond from Caroline Leavitt's letter perfect reply to the center, who will forever be known as Pocahontas. As she should be. How dare he say such a racist thing about a real African American? Yeah, I know. She can't handle it. She just can't handle saying it. That one was. Yeah, it was. 1/100,000th. Yeah, it was such a glorious dig. But that's how you have to respond to these people whenever they decide to go after you. Oh my God. I didn't even see this. That's what we got right there. Van Jones admits it. Donald Trump is smarter than all his critics. For decades now, it's been a staple of the left's critique of the patriots that both they and their leaders are stupid. First, it was Ronald Reagan, the failed actor, a man who was given lines to read. Then there was George W. Bush, a.k.a. Chimpy McHaliburton. And now there's Donald Trump, the dull-witted billionaire. It has become a reflex for leftists to characterize every Republican president, as well as every Republican presidential candidate, as intellectual lightweight or worse, who owned his electoral success to crafty and cynical handers who did believe in the message they were putting in the mouth of their front man. Now, however, possibly for the first time ever, a leading leftist spokesman has admitted that the patriotic candidate who beat them may actually be smarter than the leftists who've been it's been giving him credit for being. The unlikeliest events happened on Friday when the hard left former CNN propagandist Chris whatever was lamenting on the improbable victory of the man whom he and his colleagues have been ridiculing for years, being stupid, demented, inept, and evil. Well, Cizilla was baffled that bad orange man, the Emmanuel Goldstein of his nightmares, actually turned out to have had a thought, or even worse, that his thought had turned out to be correct.
How the hell did Donald Trump figure out the mainstream media is the fringe and the fringe is now the mainstream? How the hell did Donald Trump figure out? I mean, Joe Rogan is obvious, right? Like, we knew the guy had a big audience. It's not like we were like stunned, but like, how the hell was he, the 78-year-old guy who doesn't even have a computer and still like writes handwritten notes? How did he become the guy who cracked the code on, to your point, running a cultural, I don't even want to say campaign, running
it was a movement. Look,
heading a cultural movement versus a campaign.
Every one of your people knows Elon. Listen, Yeah. So,
Yep.
so I mean, everybody keeps. I mean, the problem is you have a framework in your mind that how can Donald Trump? How can Donald Trump? How can Donald Trump? Guys, can we cut it out? Donald Trump is not an idiot. Donald Trump. Let me just be very clear. Donald Trump is smarter than me, you, and
Yep.
all critics. You know how I know? Because he has the White House, the Senate, the House, the
Totally agree.
court, the popular vote. He has a massive media ecosystem bigger than the mainstream built around him and for him, and a religious fervor in a political movement around him. And his best buddy is the richest person in the history of the world, and the most relevant Kennedy is with him. This dude is a phenomenon. He is the most powerful human on earth and in our lifetime, and we're still saying, well, how was this guy? We look like idiots to ordinary people.
You're totally right.
Yeah. Yeah. He is absolutely right in that. How the hell he fumed. Jones broke in. It's a movement. Look. And we already saw what he said. Either way, however, Jones was right. Trump has had remarkable success, particularly in light of how much the left has thrown at him. And if you did not see, Trump doesn't actually do the tweeting. He has somebody that tweets for him, or X's or whatever, or puts out on Truth Social or wherever it might be. And he tells them exactly what he wants to say. And if there's some sort of meme that he finds funny, he'll throw that in there too. He doesn't do it himself because he can pay somebody else to do it while he can have his stream of thought. Particularly in light of how much the left has thrown him, neither total negative coverage in the establishment media, nor bogus criminal charges, nor claims of foreign interference and other malfeasance have stopped him. There has never been a candidate who survived both media onslaught and challenges in the courts, and now Trump has proven that the left is not invincible. No. And it's really, really driving them up the damn wall. It really is. And they don't know how to handle it. They really don't, because they've been having the hardest damn time going after him. Like one of the absolute hardest times going after him. Where is that particular one? I think I have it in here because it says, I'm pretty sure I have it here. But no, that is not it. There was something I wanted to show you guys because it was damn glorious. I think I've got it here somewhere. I thought it was in here. Let me see. Ah, yeah, there it is right there. I wonder if it'll upload. I bet it does. I love that. I've got something cool to show you guys. And I'm still working on something. It'll probably be done a little bit later today. I hope I can. Well, oh yeah, that's right. I won't be doing a stream tomorrow morning. Today's Wednesday, right? Yeah. I won't be doing one tomorrow morning. I will be out and about early in the morning, so I won't be able to be here to release the Kraken upon you. I've just got things to do in the morning that are much more important and relevant. Personal things, very deep personal things. But I will be around on Thursday night to bring you a whole new mess of ideas that matter about as much as anything that I ever do, which is usually very little. Usually very little. I don't see how people get all upset over things like this. They finally finished counting votes. And yes, it is fishy. Well, it's not entirely easy to tell. There's no big announcement that the seemingly interminable vote counting has finally finished. The sites that provide vote totals, however, have carried the same totals for about a week. And then previously they were updating as many times a day. And so it may be safe to say that the presidential election of 2024 is finally over. It ends with over 3 million fewer votes cast than the 2024 than there were in 2020. Is that fishy? Well, with so many allegations of chicanery swirling around the 2020 election, the answer is obvious. Still, there may be perfectly innocuous explanation. The U.S. Census Bureau states that 66.8% of eligible voters cast ballots in 2020, the highest total since 92, and in 2016, by contrast, the turnout percentage was 61.4. In 2012 is 61.8. In 2024, there were 155,477,242, and mine was number 2. Votes cast for president as opposed to the 158 million blah 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 in 2020. Those who insisted that once all the votes were counted, there would be no significant difference in the vote totals of 2020 and 2024 have been shown up in a big way. Still, this is no time for hasty conclusions. Are the missing 3,137,233 voters dead people, phantoms, and frauds who installed Joe Biden in the Oval Office? Well, maybe, but there also may be something that's completely innocuous explanation for the difference. In 2020, old Joe supposedly got 81 million some odd votes, while the 2024 camel toe Harris received only 75 million. It's entirely possible that after 4 years of the Biden-Harris regime, millions of people who voted for Biden decided not to make that same mistake again. Instead of voting for Harris, they just simply stayed home. If the Census Bureau is correct and the turnout was a record high in 2020, it's likely to have been somewhat lower in 2024. Also, if 2020 was indeed stolen, it didn't take 3 million fake votes to steal it. Old Joe won Georgia by 12,000 votes, Wisconsin by 20,000, Michigan by 150,000. That means if fewer than 200,000 voters had voted for Trump rather than Biden, Trump would have been reelected then instead of not having to wait till this year. Still, if there was fraud, the fraudsters had no way of knowing how many fake votes that they were going to need, and they may have gilded the lily. There are oddities about 2024 as well. On the 8th, Trump had 74 million popular votes and Harris had 68. Since then, 6 million of those votes counted late have gone for Harris and only 3 million for Trump. That's a resounding 66.9% of the late counted vote going for Harris. And even though these are mostly from California and other deep blue states, the percentage has a striking. Harris won California itself with a comparable low 58.45%. And why did the late counted votes flip several House seats from the Republican to Democrat column, but caused none to flip the other way? Maybe the massive percentage for Harris is because more people who use mail-in ballots tend to vote for Democrats. It is, however, precisely because of the ease with which mail-in balloting can be manipulated that many patriots are suspicious of it. It's just part of the American electoral system that needs a massive overhaul in order to ensure that we continue to have free and fair elections. Just because the results were generally good this time doesn't mean that the system isn't broken in a big way. It's crucial for Americans to address the issue. And we're going to address it right now with this brief speech.
Democracy is a form of government based upon the principle of majority rule, period. End of discussion. Now, that's not very complicated. Majority rule. It's easy to understand, easy to sell to the masses, and I might add, deadly. For example, what would you call a lynch mob? That's majority rule. There's only one dissenting vote, and he's at the end of the rope. Now, that's pure democracy in action. But wait a minute, you say. The majority should rule, yes, but not to the extent of destroying the rights of the minority. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are no longer describing a democracy. We are speaking of a republic. A republic is a limited democracy. It's a form of government based upon the principle of limited majority rule. Limited so that the minority Even a minority of one can be protected against the whims and passions of the majority. And how do you protect the minority from the majority? You write down a set of rules on a piece of paper. You say, this we can do, that we cannot. At the top of the paper, you write the word Constitution. And then everyone agrees to follow the rules no matter what the temptation. And when you're finished, you've created a constitutional republic.
Exactly. Exactly. That right there should be repeated at all times. All times that should be repeated so people understand what a difference is between democracy and a constitutional republic. This is why we are a constitutional republic and not a democracy. Always. American History 101. Yeah. Speaking of history, Kamala, do you remember Dan Quayle? Do you remember Dan Quayle? I'm sure a lot of you folks remember Dan Quayle. Oh, yeah. Yeah. He was the once glorious Dan DeQuayle. Well, Camel Toe is serving as vice president under allegedly still living President Joe Biden and has taken a bit of a vacation, is now apparently considering her future political career. When she ponders her future, she might want to consider one of her predecessors in that office, which was Dan Quayle, vice president to George H.W. Bush, familiarly known as Bush 41. Quayle, a scion of newspaper publishing company, was born in Indiana, grew up in Arizona, then returned to Indiana, where he completed college at DePauw and law school at University of Indiana. During law school, he worked in the administration of Republican Governor Edgar Whitcomb. After graduation, joined the family business as an associate publisher. He started his political career running for the House in 76 in Indiana's 4th District, defeating an 8-term Democrat, J. Edward Roosh. He was reelected in 1978 with a 64% of the vote and wasn't able to go to Guyana with Leo Ryan's fact-finding mission, which probably saved his life, as everyone on that trip was deleted in Jim Jones' Jonestown before the mass suicide of the Jonestown population. He then ran for Senate in 1980, defeating 3-term Senator Birch Bayh. He won re-election, the greatest Senate vote margin in Indiana history at the time, with 61%. In 1988, George Bush nominated Quayle to the vice presidency, and they won the election. It was during the 1988 election that Quayle came to the attention of the national press. That attention was not favorable, starting with questions about his experience and connections to a certain lobbyist. After the election, it became a running joke for misspeaking, including the famous time when he miscorrected a child's spelling word potato instead of potato. After Bush and Quayle lost re-election to Bill Clinton and Al Gore, Quayle retired from politics and went on to have a successful career in business. Camel Toe, does this spark any thoughts? Quayle was a very successful politician until he was nominated for the vice presidency. Then he had a reasonable successful term as vice president, including pushing the single state stage to orbit DCX program. Dear old space nuts like this guy here. Now compare your career. You move up in state government through the sponsorship of powerful figures in the Democrat Party, followed by an election to city and state positions until finally being elected to the Senate. You ran for the presidential nomination against Joe Biden until the disaster in the nomination debate drove you out of the race before your first primary. Even though you accused Biden of racism, he selected you as his running mate, having promised a black woman as vice president. You followed a spectacularly unsuccessful term as vice president with your unsuccessful campaign as a stand-in for Biden and a disastrous defeat. And now you're considering your political future. I think it's time to think about Dan Quayle. He was a very successful politician in Indiana and reasonably successful as vice president. Even though he became famous for small gaffes, you were a moderately successful politician in California, but wildly unsuccessful as a vice president, wildly unsuccessful, accidental presidential candidate. I think Quayle is an example you should study, Camel Toe. After losing the 1992 election, he retired from politics and had a successful life. Should you emulate Quayle? That's a thought, Camel Toe. It's a deep thoughts with Shizzy Wisnut. Well, maybe Shizzy could be so kind to set up something so all chat can visit while he does his stuff. All chat can visit while he does his stuff. Yeah, poor Dan. They tried to make him out to be dumb. Yeah, yeah. It is in the Constitution. Yeah. I don't know what you mean by that. Mayor Dan, how you doing? Good to see you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's a wonderful, wonderful day to see Mayor Dan here. And speaking of mayors, we got Mayor Adams drops a truth bomb about how Luigi Maggioni was radicalized, and Dems won't actually like it. It's been nearly 2 weeks since the United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was deleted in Midtown Manhattan. Thankfully, his alleged killer, Luigi Maggioni, 26, was captured after someone recognized McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania. While the evidence all appears to confirm Maggioni is the killer, in a lot of ways it just doesn't make sense why this kid who grew up privileged and went to Ivy League school and everything would be driven to deletion. New York City Mayor Eric Adams has something to say on the issue that the Democrats won't be happy about. Adams bluntly described a disturbing trend he's witnessed among young people in America. Speaking candidly about the radicalization of youth, he addressed the troubling case of Maggioni, drawing a direct line between the shooter's upbringing and the toxic influence of the education system that led to his violent actions. Adams was quick to point out that Maggioni's background doesn't fit the typical profile of someone prone to radicalization. Ivy League, grew up in an affluent household, he said, emphasized the disconnect between the shooter's privileged life and his eventual descent into hatred. This manifesto clearly is showing some signs of hating. Adam continued, underscoring that even those with seemingly ideal circumstances can be consumed by dangerous ideology. The mayor turned his focus to the broader problem at hand, the radicalization of Americans' youth. Our children are being radicalized, Adams stated, and said this over and over again. And everybody's like, you know what you're talking about, Eric. His frustration with the lack of attention to issue was clear, but his message was undeniable. This isn't just a fringe problem, it's becoming a mainstream crisis. Adam explains how young people, even those with every opportunity, are being led to despise the country that gives them so much. Our children are being radicalized to hate America, to hate the country that put them where they are. Despite growing up with privilege that many would envy, Maggioni's hatred for everything that made his life possible led to a devastating outcome. This person had all that one wants to have, but he hated everything to the point of deleting someone. Can't begin to tell you how refreshing it is to hear him say this. This is what conservatives have been saying for a long time now. It's not just the young people who have been radicalized. We've seen adults on the left who have been sympathetic to Maggioni, suggesting that he was justified. Adams didn't stop there. He warned that society is ignoring the signs of radicalization with far-reaching consequences. We better deal with the radicalization of our young people, he urged, and people could, but they could complain that I'm saying it, but I'm seeing it. His concern goes beyond just one tragic event. Adam sees a larger cultural shift. I want to just emphasize it, more of a cult shift, where young people are being taught to reject the very values that allowed them to succeed. And it's the same one conservatives have been warning for years, more like decades. And then he admitted where it's coming from. I'm seeing our bench is hating the team, and we better start acknowledging and focusing on that. And this is how he said it.
Think about the shooter. Ivy League, grew up in an affluent household. His manifesto clearly is showing some signs of hating. Our children are being radicalized. I said this over and over again. And everybody's like, what are you talking about, Eric? And, our children are being radicalized to hate the America, to hate the country that put them where they are. This person had all that one wants to have, but he hated everything to the point of shooting someone. And we better deal with the radicalization of our young people. And, people could, they could complain that I'm saying it, but I'm seeing it. I'm seeing our bench is hating the team. And we better start acknowledging and focusing on that. And so having dance parties celebrating the death of someone, I don't support that.
Yeah, he's pretty spot on with that. Nobody should support that kind of evil. Adam's words are a wake-up call to those who've long ignored the radicalization of younger generation. His unflinching honesty brings a much-needed spotlight to the problem, one that the left often dismisses or downplays. The mayor's message is clear. The radicalization of young Americans is real, and if we don't start confronting it head-on, we will continue to see more tragic and senseless violence. Bravo to him for speaking the truth. Yes. And I think that there are Democrats out there that are coming back and really, really starting to speak the truth. He's been waking up. Good to see. Dealing RN, good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, it's good to see whenever people are getting a little fed up with the garbage that they're seeing that's destroying their cities. And it's been going on for quite some time. We noticed this during the summer of love, sparked off by this right here. Did Derek Chauvin really kill George Floyd? A reckoning may be coming, and former police officer Derek Chauvin has been granted a chance to take a look at George Floyd's heart to explore an alternate theory of why the man died. Police custody. The federal judge move on Monday will allow Chauvin's lawyers to determine if the former cop's knee on his upper back killed him, or the fentanyl and other drugs he was on exacerbated an already weakened heart, created a condition that ended in his death. This move also gives the country another chance to look with more sobriety and less emotion at Floyd's death, which birthed hundreds of riots, resulted in more than $2 billion in damage to other people's property, and sparked rage and endless virtue signaling. And it birthed lies. Lots and lots of lies. Chauvin's trial occurred in a cauldron of hate when the jury filed into the barricaded courthouse complex just blocks from where the riots had burned down buildings, including a police station and a Target store. They could hear screaming protesters, a reminder of the violence Floyd's death triggered. The judge refused to move the trial to another nearby county, and out of the center of unrest, he refused to delay the case. Chauvin's one attorney was up against the anti-friendly Attorney General Keith Ellison, placed in charge of the case of Governor Tim Walz. Ellison convinced the judge that the county attorney was not up to the task of trying Chauvin. Ellison chose an all-star panel of lawyers, at least one flown in from D.C. to try the case. Hovering over the events was race-grifting Benjamin Crump. Yeah, Crump is pretty damn scummy. The 5 acting prosecuting attorneys routinely dumped hundreds of pages of discovery on Chauvin's lone attorney's desk on the eve of calling important witnesses. Chauvin was convicted of killing Floyd and then convicted. He should serve all the time in a federal lockup instead of a worse state prison, and he pleaded guilty to depriving Floyd of his civil rights. But in a court filing, Chauvin claims his attorney never told him about the heart condition that could have changed the entire case. A federal judge approved giving Chauvin and his experts samples of bodily fluids and access to the heart tissue, which lies at the center of his appeal. And let's see if we've got that right here. Looking to see. It looks like it's only a 3-page document. This could be very interesting. What it says here is defendant Derek Chauvin filed a motion seeking discovery under Rule 6 of the rules governing blah, 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 blah. That rule allows for a party to take discovery provided the court finds that there is good cause. Understanding the discovery request and why there is good cause supporting it requires placing it in context, which requires discussing Mr. Chauvin's 2255 claims. He filed this motion challenging his federal conviction. In the briefing on this motion, he argued that his motion should be granted because he was denied the effective assistance of counsel in 2 fundamental ways. First, his attorney, Eric Nelson, failed to inform Mr. Chauvin that a Dr. William Schnechel Chancel, whatever, had contacted Mr. Nelson and opined that Mr. Chauvin did not cause Mr. Floyd's death. Mr. Schnitzel opined that Mr. Floyd died due to cataclysmic crisis when his paraphernalia secreted excessive levels of, why do they have to have these long names? These excessive levels of shit in his blood led to a myocarditis, basically a heart failure or heart attack, resulting pulmonary edema and death. Dr. Schnitzel contacted Mr. Nelson in April 2021 before Mr. Chauvin was indicted federally. So Mr. Chauvin's first ground is a claim that Nelson provided ineffective assistance of counsel to Mr. Chauvin by failing to consult with him on this issue. The second way Mr. Chauvin claims that Mr. Nelson was ineffective is related through, though independent. Mr. Schnitzel urged that samples preserved from Mr. Floyd be tested for these particular metal bites, and that tissue sections of Mr. Floyd's heart be examined. These tests and examinations would support Mr. Schnitzel's opinion about what caused Mr. Floyd to die if high levels of this crap or metabolites were discovered, or if the heart tissue showed evidence of this myocarditis. Mr. Nelson never requested these tests. Mr. Chauvin's second claim is thus not a failure but to consult claim, but a failure to test claim. Mr. Chauvin's discovery motion seeks to have the test performed that could support Mr. Schnitzel's opinion of how Mr. Floyd died. Mr. Chauvin seeks to test various fluids from him, virtuous fluid, also known as aqueous humor, post-mortem femoral blood, ante-mortem blood, and urine, and the concentration of fractionated I am not even going to be able to say half those words. Mr. Chauvin also seeks to have Mr. Floyd's heart tissue slides and photographs of Mr. Floyd's heart examined to see if they show evidence of this myocarditis. In case the heart tissue slides or other information is no longer available for analysis, or in which Mr. Chauvin or their information are no longer available, or in case which slides are available are not sufficient to determine whether this occurred. Mr. Chauvin also asked for access to the heart tissue blocks embedded in wax from which tissue slides are repaired, and any preserved heart tissue so the new heart tissue slides can be prepared. Mr. Chauvin notes that the autopsy report from the Hennepin County Medical Examiner's office indicates the fluid from Mr. Floyd was collected and retained, that representative tissue biopsies are retained in formalin for microscopic examination, that the tissue slides of Mr. Floyd's heart were prepared. The toxicology report were done in Mr. Floyd's blood and urine, though not the test that could support his opinion of his death. Autopsy report, it also shows an anti-mortem blood was collected. Given the significant nature of the criminal case that Mr. Chauvin was convicted of, and given that the discovery that Mr. Chauvin seeks to support Dr. Schnitzel's opinion of how Mr. Floyd died, the court finds that there's good cause to allow Mr. Chauvin to take the discovery that he seeks. Accordingly, the court grants Mr. Chauvin's motion. There you go. And he'll be allowed to take discovery any of all slides. The defense shall be allowed to inspect, examine, and make copies of any photographs. And defense shall be allowed to take quantities of certain fluids. It has been signed off by Paul Magnuson, the judge. Damn. Drugs kill. Shocking, I say. Shocking. Good luck this morning, Cynthia. Yes, absolutely. Have wonderful luck this morning. I hope everything goes well for you. Floyd had several heart ailments, as we've reported. The medical examiner's report showed the medical examiner previously said that they were presented. The store owner reported Floyd, his drug dealer who was with him, and a woman for passing fake $20 bills. When Floyd was stopped by police and put in the back of a patrol car, police found spent baggies of drugs. It's believed that the 6'4", 223-pound Floyd ate the drugs to hide evidence. He was taken out of the car when he was asked to lie down. He thrashed around despite being told to lie still. And a 140-pound Chauvin, man, it's a little dude, held him down with his knee. Though the initial report said Chauvin's knee was on Floyd's neck, evidence at trial showed that Chauvin's knee was not on his neck, but on his upper back. And the National Review reported that Chauvin's theory is that the totality of circumstances created a heart condition not discussed at trial. I think there was a lot of people discussing it, but it wasn't discussed it wasn't brought up by the attorney. Medical report also showed that Floyd had a tumor on his leg. Chauvin never would have pleaded guilty to the federal charges if he was aware that a Kansas pathologist's opinion that Floyd may have died from complications of a rare tumor called paragangliomas something or other. The pathologist, Dr. William Schnitzel, and I'm saying his name wrong, told defense attorney Eric Nelson about the tumor, but didn't pass on the significance of it to Chauvin. His appeal was slowed after he was stabbed 22 times while sitting at the law library at a federal lockup in Arizona, and he was later moved to a facility in Texas. 22 times. And imagine it comes out that he was innocent of it. Imagine what would happen. Overturning his conviction would be the epitome of reversing the last 4 years. Yeah, it would. Yeah, it would. We'll take another look at this case, reopen old wounds, or we'll reopen the minds of the American public that all was not as it seemed during the summer of love. And as Fallstorm put, it would be something reversing the last 4 years, or give, assholes another reason to riot and destroy shit. Because that's how people, for whatever reason, have this idea that, rioting solves issues. It doesn't solve issues. It just really, really pisses people off. And they're left wondering what the hell to do. But it is time. It's time for something very special. And I want to thank all of you for giving me this opportunity to show you this wonderful clip. Oh yeah.
Well, looks like I'm living rent free in your heads again, huh? I mean, if you're gonna spend your days obsessing over me, you might as well start calling me something respectable. Maybe Daddy Shizzy, or better yet, Papa Nut. Who's the grown up here? Oh right, it's me, let's go. Call me Daddy, yeah, that's who I am. Running your lines like a master plan. Papa Nut, Shizzy, Daddy, take your pick. I'm owning your thoughts while you're still at sick.
I love it. Oh yeah. I am gonna love this guy. Just jealous of his moves. Absolutely. But that's okay, because I'm going to be taking that clip and adding some new music to it. It's going to make it just so much more fun. Yes. So I'm going to be using that one. That is a glorious clip. But there's this one that I wanted to show you. It is probably one of the most glorious things that I've seen in some time. When I show it to you, if you agree, just all you got to do is hit the thumbs up. All you got to do is hit the thumbs up, because this next one is going to be hilarious, because bro is a professional hater.
One of the best ways to drain people's energy nowadays is via the internet. This woman is a astrophysicist. Actually, this is not how space works. Read a book. Now I just wait for the comments to come in. Hey, can you mansplain any louder? Yeah, sure. These are all different accounts that I have set up. The energy you get this way isn't quite as pure, but if you do enough of it, it'll fill you up. Shanghai sucked. Where was the Chinatown? Jason Mraz is just too weird for me. Jesus actually hates horses. Childhood obesity, LMFO. When they call you a dumbass, you know you've got them. They called me a dumbass. Women are getting too tall. Yeah. You can drain their energy via social media without having to even be near them. That is racist. You're correct. It is. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, the hate.
Yeah.
It's surprisingly simple to get total strangers completely furious with you.
I should get a life.
I saw that. That made me professional troll. Yes. It made me laugh so hard when I saw that. I just about wet myself. I was like, oh my God. That requires way too much time. I know, but it doesn't take much to get people worked up. It really doesn't. It really does not take much to get people completely worked up over the most ridiculous shit. like this. I saw somebody showed this morning. Whenever I saw it, I was like, okay, that's really weird. There you go.
It is all of them. All of them. And not one will be able to escape.
Creepy, huh? Yeah, that was Stephen Baldwin. What kind of crap is he on? That's a troll. That is a troll. Oh my God. It's amazing. It's amazing that people are missing out on some of the fun of what the interwebs used to be. Missing out on the fun. But we're here to make it more fun again. What in the hell? The hell is this about? I saw this. I just saw this. What in the hell? So if you're wondering what that was about, that right there is the city attorney, Millersville city attorney, Bryant Cole. He quit after the new commission proposes cutting his fee from $200 an hour to $15 an hour. As an attorney, I would have done the same damn thing. I would have got up, I would have walked away and said, hell to the no. Hell to the no. There's no damn way that would be happening. No. Just a big no. Crazy, crazy, crazy day. What in the hell? It's going to be a good day today. I've got, like I said, tonight I should be throwing a stream up. I'm working on revamping my schedule where it goes a little bit later so I can get a little bit more exercise in the evenings. Try to drop a few of these extra poundages that I've been throwing on. $200 an hour is actually cheap for, yeah, it is. That's very low for an attorney. But you also have to understand in certain places that's going to be like a pretty good salary for an attorney. Sometimes attorneys will discount a rate because it can bring in other business. I know that people go, oh my gosh, why would they do that? Well, because they can, because they have enough other business, and they're not doing a whole lot except being there as legal counsel, and they're more than happy to spend a little bit of time and give back to their community. That kind of stuff happens, not all the time, but there is quite a bit of that whenever it does happen. That attorneys will take just a little bit. take a little bit off where they don't, where, because it's going to bring other business, or they've got other business that just sort of coincides with it and helps them out. It's going to be a long hard week. Long hard week here in what the hell would somebody do that? Idiots. Oh my gosh, I just seen people do stupid things. No. Oh God. Eek. Yeah, I couldn't show that. Couldn't show that at all. So here's the thing. Pro bono work. Well, some people do pro bono work. But usually if they're doing pro bono work is because they have a pretty successful career as an attorney. And they'll pick up pro bono work because it leads to other stuff. We don't dance like Carmen anymore. Why not? Why not? I guess though that if you can't get the budget rates for your service as an attorney, you can always sit on the YouTubes for 6-hour days bitching about the hails. I guess, but that's not usually what they would do. I mean, that right there seems like a waste of time and energy to me. I mean, but some attorneys got to do that, which everybody's telling me that the Bubbles is supposed to be doing his little deposition finishing off today. That's what the little birdies are telling me, that he's going to be finishing off that particular deposition. And I'm very curious if this judge, this magistrate judge, doesn't maybe have some rulings after today. We shall see. We shall see exactly what's going to happen with this. And this is far over from this fight that Jeremy has an uphill battle. That's right, Nanny Goat, in front of the judge, which can go one of two ways. Either it can go really smooth and Bubbles gets all his questions answered, or it can go absolutely awry and nothing gets answered, and it just becomes a slugfest, which who knows how it's going to turn out. Who knows how it will actually turn out. I do hope that it gets the attention it deserves, gets the attention it deserves, and it really makes it a much better outcome than the last part of the deposition was. What was that last week? I thought it was tomorrow too. Today, tomorrow. I don't know when it is. Tomorrow, today, tomorrow. Yeah, probably tomorrow. It gives Sir Bubbles Scamelot just a little bit more time to make it into town. To make it into town. But you're betting that the Tinkerbell Bubbles is going to reveal his real intentions in front of the judge. Can't wait to hear this. Well, he's got Bubbles has a snowball chance in hell. Well, there is always a chance. There is always that opportunity to get something done. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. See how it goes. Jeremy Hills actually set the stage by being admonished. The judge isn't playing with the other side, will need to abide by those rules or be sanctioned. Now Jeremy's got the warning. Yes, Jeremy got a warning. Bubbles got a warning. Everybody got a warning. The only person that did not get a warning, which was the court reporter for doing their damn job, the steno company. Kudos to her for basically saying, yeah, you're not getting a copy of the audio. That has to be ordered by a judge. And the judge reviewed it and said, no, we're not listening to the audio. I'm admonishing everybody for this. And you will complete this in front of me. And if you're not able to do your job as an attorney. I will step in and make sure that you do your job as an attorney, Bubbles. Shockett will be admonished if he doesn't get control of his client. Yeah, Bubbles has to pay her. If you want that deposition, you have to split the cost. Simple as that. And the judge has ordered that they're splitting the cost on having the court reporter. Yeah, that's in the order that they will be splitting the cost of those additional 3 hours of the deposition, that they will be splitting the cost. Pretty straightforward. And, that's how the judge is saying, yeah, we're done playing. Jeremy did that because of what Lynette's did during his deposition. No. Jeremy did that because it was ridiculous, some of the questions that Bubbles was asking him that were completely irrelevant. And also he wanted to make sure that he got those things on the record, which they are now on the record. Those things that he said in the deposition would be no different than what he said in court. Now comes the part where, everybody says, but it's a redeposition. No, it's only redeposition of the last 3 hours that they were not able to complete. There was multiple times that Shockett said, are you done? Because, I'm going to be asking my client some questions and get these things out. Yeah, Jeremy got frustrated. Yeah, very frustrated. It would be frustrating if somebody asked you the same question 10 different ways. It'd be very frustrating, especially whenever you've already answered the question. You answered it multiple different ways, and he's asked it multiple different ways, and he's still getting the same answer. I wouldn't give my financial information to him either. Well, that's the thing. It's not that he's given his financial information. He just has to show where he was harmed. So Bubbles will be able to ask certain questions, and I'm sure that there's going to be all kinds of motions filed over the next few days that are going to, solidify these both of their positions. You have to remember, whenever you get in front of a judge, the attorneys pretty much have a good idea of what their case is going to be. Nothing should be coming as a surprise to either side. It's just a matter of presenting the best case to a jury. And it's not going to change how that case is presented on social media. My opinion of things bear no relevance in court of law. How I feel about it bears nothing of anything in a court of law. Just like the toothless ones, nothing they say bears anything in a court of law, or anything that Bubbles has said on social media bears nothing in the court of law. That's the issue that they're running into, is because they're fighting a media campaign thinking that it's going to change what a jury sees or hears. That's not what's going to happen, because a jury is only going to see what the judge allows them to see, and that's all that they'll be able to rule on. My opinion isn't going to change what their opinion is, because I have no influence over them. What it is, and I've said this multiple times, and I know that there's probably people out there that are going, oh my God, just lay off of it. Why do you have to say that all the damn time? It is an effort to scam money out of people. That is why they're running with their little campaign. It is a scam to get money out of you, and it pisses them off to no extent that those funds are starting to dry up, because people are waking up going, wait a minute, what is my money going to again? Where's it going? Who am I funding? Am I sending stuff for this child? Oh, no. Now you're sending money to get an attorney, a place to stay, and put food in his belly. Not begrudging him that, but he should have known this going into it. But I can almost guarantee with about, I would say about 90 to 100% that there's going to be a bunch of people that are just like, Shizzy. He is so bad. He's saying that they're scamming. Prove me wrong. Prove me that they're not. I'm happy to concede if they're actually not. But so far, everything that they've been doing points to them collecting money on behest of somebody, of a different party. And I said this before. And everybody's saying, well, you're saying that they're scamming. It's like, no, I'm saying prove that they're not. Make it open and share it with everybody where that money's coming from, where it's going, how it's being spent. Because you could tell people a million different ways, but whenever there's no transparency in how that money's being spent, it raises questions. You should be scratching your head and you should be looking at it critically. If you're not looking at it critically, then you're just not a critical thinker in these situations. Not my problem. Matters not to me where the money goes. Doesn't change my life whatsoever. I'm saying if you want to look at it yourself, you might want to do that. Decide, is this what I want to spend my money on? Hey, it's entirely up to you. Of course, they're going to say it's Shizzy causing all these problems. No, I'm just asking the questions. Imagine when the guy that gave them 5 turtles, thinking that they were a sanctuary, wakes up and finds out the truth, the living condition of his turtles. Well, or if they are living, I don't know. Give you their car, donate a cheap car. Yeah, see, that's not my problem. That's not my problem. I would say, it is one of those things. This is the outcome of shitty decisions. The outcome of really shitty decisions, which we are going to be going over a little bit tonight. Showing the outcome of a really shitty decisions. I may be able to do an early stream. We'll have to see how it goes. I'm not positive what I've, because my wife has things going on this evening that I am not part of, which is amazing. But we did do, is it tomorrow? Is it tonight or tomorrow? Shit. I always forget. But yeah, Thursday I've got things. Thursday morning, you will not see me here Thursday morning at all. I will be off and about taking care of some other business. But I will be back on Thursday evening to see how much information we've gotten from the courts, what kind of filings. I'm sure that there will be plenty over the next few days. And we're still coming up on that big what would you say? Christmas Day. Yeah, Christmas Day is coming up really soon. And then of course, we have other news stories to cover. Everybody. Yeah, I have a story, has a new video up. It is a very good listen. I Am Just Me. I would suggest everybody go check that out. It is a really heartfelt, really very, very good heartfelt story, and kudos to I Have a Story. He's done really good work, and always thankful on a regular basis of having him around, and I think he makes my world a much better place, and I hope he does for you too. Everybody have a wonderful day, and I'll be sending you somewhere. I haven't decided yet where, but you'll figure it out whenever I get you there. Everybody have a good day.
Bless your heart. I thought I was the only mentally challenged one here.
Get it, yeah, oh yeah. feeling fine. News is out and on the air. Shizzy Whiz nuts wild, but we don't care. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz nuts, start the show. Let's go. Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Headlines spinning in the breeze. Stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java, wear a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Headlines spinning in the breeze. Stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java, wear a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Serious is overrated. Every day we're caffeinated. Talk the town, but in a jest. Morning Whiz is always best. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop.
Oh my god, Shizzy breaks Larry. Shizzy broke Larry.
Hey, say hi to legal mind.